Volunteering isn't just about giving back, it's about growth and personal transformation. Today, we meet the beautiful Lucy, a living testament to that power. Her journey as a volunteer with Prisons Fellowship Kenya since 2015 has not only impacted individuals within the program, but also shaped her own life in profound ways. Diana Etabo here, ready to hear her story, the lessons she's learned, and how volunteering has become a catalyst for positive change. Welcome, Lucy.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, Lucy, I want to hear this beautiful journey. I love your smile. But tell me, how did you know about Prisons Fellowship Kenya? How did you conclude to be a volunteer? Since 2015, those are 8 years. How has it been? Just tell me in your own words.
Yeah, it has been wonderful. And we have a prison ministry in my church. And that's where I started prison ministry. We've been visiting prisons with my church. And along the way, we received a letter through our minister that there is an organization that the letter said that they do discipleship in prisons, and whoever is interested, they have a training, and they are inviting anyone who is interested to go for that training. And we went for that training in 2015, and we were amongst the first volunteers to be trained by the Prison Fellowship International. That was the international team that came here in Kenya. They trained us, and that's how we started.
Let me ask you now, because you're telling me you already had a prisons ministry in church.
Yes.
Why? Why did you join the prison ministry? What was it about? And then you came and be trained. How was doing that ministry and then coming into the ministry of Prisons Fellowship Kenya and being trained? How was that transition?
Yes, we were just invited to go and evangelize in prisons by the evangelism team in my church. And I used to go to evangelize in institutions. And so it was, I had never been to prison evangelism before. So I thought, let me just go and see how it is. And we went, we evangelized, and we used to go every week to evangelize. And I remember one time I was very sad because we evangelized in, I think it was in Kiabu prisons. We used to go every Thursday. And then on Wednesdays, we used to go to Nairobi West prisons. And what I noticed was that once we evangelized and the prisoners or the remadis get born again, then we'd come back the following week, and I noticed that the same people would get born again. And I used to ask them, why? You got born again last week. Why are you getting born again this week? Then some of them would explain that I'll be going to court next week, so that's why they are getting born again. Then the next time they say, now this time I'm going for mention, so I need to get born again a second time so that when I go for the mention, like the grace will be more. And then I went home, and I was very sad because it means that they really didn't understand the salvation. Mm-hmm. And interestingly, I didn't even pray about it. I was just wondering, what can I do about it? Mm-hmm. And as I was thinking, then our church minister brought this letter.
Oh, wow.
And said that there's a discipleship program that is coming up. Those who are interested, they can be trained on how to do discipleship in prisons. And that was just an answered prayer to me. So I just jumped into the program, mm-hmm. and we were trained, and I got to learn how to disciple the prisoners. And yeah, that's how we started in 2015.
Okay, I love that transition. So it means you are able to disciple these people, but because you didn't have a guide or how to do it, it was less effective. So now we move to your being trained, and I know the prisoner's journey. Tell me about it.
Yes, this is the program that is run by the Prison Fellowship International. And then here in Kenya is Prison Fellowship Kenya. They have a discipleship program. Actually, it's an evangelizing tool. So the prisoners get to understand the message of salvation. You know, you can evangelize to someone in 3 minutes and just tell them, introduce Jesus to them, tell them about the message of salvation, and you know, they get born again. But this program, it takes a person through the message of salvation in details. It's very detailed, so it explains who Jesus is, why did he come, and what are we supposed to do about it. And it runs in 8 weeks. So in those 8 weeks, you sit with someone, even someone who have never heard about Jesus Christ, or they have always, or maybe they have always had questions. So you sit down with them, and they really understand the message of salvation, who Jesus is, and the message of grace, and what they are supposed to do.
Okay, so they go through this 8-week program. So this is different people in so different volunteers in different prisons. Because as far as I understand that Prison Fellowship has been able to function in 90 prisons in Kenya. Now my question for you, you've talked about Kiambu and which other one? Nairobi West prisons?
Yes, at that time, we started with the prisons in Nairobi.
Okay.
Actually, our first lesson was in Langata prison. The coordinator who was there at that time, she gave us the first lesson, all of us, including the prisoners themselves.
Okay.
Because after the training, we are still nervous. We didn't even know how to run the program. But after that first lesson, we were now able to run with the program. So at that time, we started off with the Nairobi prisons. The first one was Langata prison, the Rimad and the main prison. Then the industrial area and Nairobi West prisons.
Okay.
Yes.
And since you're one of the oldest, have you been, or what has been your experience in prisons that are outside Nairobi? Because now I believe the 90 prisons are spread across Kenya. Tell me some of the places you've visited and what was your experience there. What are some of the challenges for volunteers? Maybe what you face as you do this work of the Lord.
Yes, the prisons outside Nairobi, we faced a few challenges. Some of them, they didn't understand what this new thing is. Some of them, they didn't trust us at first. They didn't understand what we wanted or what we were teaching, because they have to be careful about the organizations that are coming in, what are they teaching. But those who had already done the program in Nairobi, they also helped us, because once they observed the results, and that the prisons in Nairobi had embraced the program, they understood the program. Even the chaplains in Nairobi, they understood the program. So that really helped us. And we also had to sacrifice our time, because some of those places we could not just go and come back. So we had to sacrifice maybe a whole week and go and train them. And then some of the other challenges were the language. Language was a challenge.
Oh, language barrier.
Yeah. Because in Nairobi, most people understand Kiswahili. The guides are in Kiswahili and in English. And but now outside Nairobi, most places, some of them, they don't understand the two languages. So that was a big challenge. Yeah.
Okay.
And later on in Nairobi, we also got a little bit of challenge because of foreigners. Yeah.
What about foreigners?
Some of
Oh,
them
in the
didn't-
prison?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them didn't understand English or Kiswahili. So that was also another challenge.
Okay. Wow. Those are things you don't normally hear or think about. But now I want to, before I delve into what happens after they have gone through the 8-week program, let me ask you, how do you, being volunteering, and you're saying you even take a week sometimes outside home, that's what I'm thinking, and work. How do you do the work-life balance? How do you balance out the two so that you don't do volunteering but something else is hurting, like your family or your children or your work? How do you balance that?
Yes, in Nairobi it was not very much of a challenge because I'm in business.
Okay.
And the program is a 2-hour program, so it's either in the morning or in the afternoon. But most of the time we would give ourselves one day per week and just give ourselves a whole day for that. For example, in Langata prison, we'd go to the remand in the morning, then in the afternoon we go to the main prison. So that was one whole day for that.
Oh, so you take a whole day to, that's your 24 hours set aside for prison ministry in a week. Okay. Now tell me, I'm seeing a lot of books here. Tell me about what happens now. This prisoner has come. You've taken them through the 8-week lessons from the book of Mark. So explain to me why the book of Mark, and two, what happens after I've finished. Like now I believe there's a cohort that has finished, right? Yes. Tell me about that.
So once we land into a particular prison, we talk to the chaplains, and actually we used to start off by calling them for a meeting, the chaplains of a particular area, maybe in Nairobi. We train them, take them through the program so that they can understand it. And then they would pick for us the prisoners who have been there for a while and they have gone through salvation. They are a bit mature in salvation. They are actually in the leadership of the church in that prison. Oh, wow. And then we take them through the program. And once they go through the program, they are the ones we use as the training of trainers. They are now able to take the other prisoners through the program themselves. So we don't have to continue training the prisoners ourselves. We used to do like about 2 or 3 lessons with them. So we take them through the first lessons, and then the second cycle we go through with them, and then after that we can release them to continue with the program, and then we move to another prison. And we use the book of Mark because it's a very good evangelizing tool. It's short and it's simple to understand. And then after that, we give them the whole Bible so that they can read for themselves. So the version we give them is also easy to read version and understand. And because the book of John is long, it's very detailed, and we cannot be able to use it in 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's very impressive. So after they finish, you give them the Bible, then they graduate, I think. So how does this certificate help them?
This certificate is...
just show us one.
Yes, this is one of the certificates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the prisoner's journey certificate. This is what we give them. And
okay.
You see, you know, when we go there, we tell them they are actually not in prison, practically speaking. Because, for example, in the book of 1 Peter, I think chapter 3, it says that when Jesus died, he went into prison. So, and then he preached to those who were in prison. Mm-hmm. So that is the real prison. Hell is actually the main prison. Where they are is a rehabilitation center by the government of Kenya. They are going through rehabilitation. And the government have set it up such that by the time they finish their sentence, they have been rehabilitated spiritually, academically, business-wise. They do other programs. So once they go to court, So most judges will ask them, for this long you have been in prison, what have you been doing? So this is one of the certificates that they show. And most of the time, the judges will see that, yes, this person is serious. They have been rehabilitated, they have cooperated with the government and with the other organizations that the government have allowed to go in, and they are ready to go back to the society.
Okay. So have you had instances where, because of this certificate and the other things they're doing inside there, it has helped one for their sentence to be shortened, or it helped them become better in the society after they've finished their sentence? Give us an example, something you've encountered.
Yes, I've encountered many of them. Actually, some of them, those who have been in serious cases, once they are in remand and their cases are going on, they are ongoing. So there is one of them who told me that he went to court and he was asked, you have been in prison for 7 years. So what have you been doing for all these years? So he have gone through many discipleship programs, and this is one of them. And some of them have called us after they have been released. Some chaplains have called me after that this person was released, and they are looking for a job, and they went to a certain church. They said that they have gone through this discipleship program, and they would like to have their certificate. Maybe if they were released before they got the certificate. Okay. So they used the certificate to get jobs or to get recommendation.
Okay. So Lucy, as we are about to just end, let me ask you, what drives you? What makes you, for 8 years, leave your business a day in a week? I don't even know how to count those days. But what drives you to wake up and continue doing volunteering ministry to prisons, not to children in school, to prisons? Just give me a snippet of that.
I believe God has called me. He has equipped me to do this work, and He has enabled me, because nothing of mine have ever gone wrong, because I'm in prison serving Him. He's always given me what I need for my businesses and for everything. And even as I continue to do this discipleship work, we get to interact with the inmates, become friends. And I just want to continue serving them, because I've come to love them. They are people like any one of us, and to assist them just fight themselves. And even for them to know that God loves them, and once they come back to the society, we are going to receive them, and we'll continue working with them. Yes.
Powerful.
And one thing I remember when I was when we were beginning this program, we got become friends with some of the ladies there in Langata, and some of them would invite us to go even to listen to their cases in court. And one time I went to listen to one of the cases, and that lady was facing murder charges, and she got sentenced to, I think, condemned. She was condemned to be hanged, although we don't do that in Kenya anymore. And so later on I went and we prayed with her. And then that year, the president who was there, President Uhuru, the gift that he gave the nation, I think it was on 10th of October or 20th, he released all those prisoners who were in condemned. Wow. That month, that same month that I went to pray with her. So that was an answered prayer to us. So she's now serving a life sentence instead of being in the condemned, which makes a lot of difference. And that really makes me to want to go back there and share this love of God.
That's really, really powerful. Now, you know the Prisons Fellowship Journey is a funded program. Now, I just want you to talk to Kenyans and friends of Kenyans. Tell them, what do you have to tell them about the program? How do they support the program? Would you encourage anyone to support this program?
Yes, so Prison Fellowship Kenya runs discipleship programs in the country, and they use materials like the Bible, like I've shown you the certificate and the training materials, and they need funds to acquire these materials and to distribute them all over the country. So, as you have heard, they are now in more than 90 prisons, and they need to send all these materials to all these prisons to have them printed, prepared, and send them to all these prisons. Yeah, so they need to raise funds for all this, and they would really appreciate support from all of and from all of you viewers. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you for that engaging and learning experience. Thank you for being part of the journey of over 70,000 prisoners through volunteering. Real transformation, real people, real lives. As you have heard, Lucy's story today was a powerful reminder that even the smallest act of compassion can have a ripple effect. Remember, we all have the power to be part of this movement for change. Visit prisonsfellowshipkenya.co.ke right now and explore how you can get involved, whether it's volunteering your time, donating, or simply raising awareness. Let's stand together, just like Lucy, and build a community of support for those impacted by incarceration. This is Diana Etabo, and I believe that together we can create a world where hope is known and there are no walls.